Hey guys, welcome back. Let's see who we got in here first. Let me give some shout outs for everyone that's seen. I
Do
see
it.
it. Saffron said she couldn't make it. Michael G, how you doing? Jason, Snoopy, Captain Silva, Michael G. I maybe already said you. If I double or miss you, I'm sorry. Huckleberry, Random JL, how you doing?
Random.
Miss Sharon. Sharon's in here doing her thing. That's it, Captain Silva. Southern Mimi, how are you?
Hey, Southern.
Backwoods, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. Yanking Watchdog. I'm so glad you guys are in here.
Absolutely.
So, forgiveness and the power of forgiveness, which carries a lot more weight than what people realize.
Absolutely. Look, there should be, seriously, I'm not even gonna lie to you. The people that are in power there should be a class like in elementary and middle school about forgiveness, about spirituality. Seriously, it should start at a young age, and we wouldn't have to deal with a lot of this foolishness that we have to live with now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go. I agree. And I mean, the more and more society goes, don't they kind of lean towards the opposite of that? I mean, look
Yeah.
how much they push, the division and the hatred and keeping on and oh, you remember when and this what I mean, it's like they go completely opposite of that. And I think it's stewing and stirring up stuff even more.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like it's their fundamentals for how they want society to be directed. They don't want us understanding that these spiritual gifts
Exactly.
are some of the most powerful things that we have. They don't want us to know that. They want us to stay like materialistic, work,
Oh, yeah.
get the
Keep you
money.
distracted, keep you stressed out, keep you divided, keep you
Yeah.
hating each other,
Yeah.
it's always like that.
You wanna fix all your problems? Work more, get rich.
Yeah.
If you make more money, it'll fix. No, that's not it.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. And they push for that. There's
Yes.
reasons for that. Hey,
Hava!
Hava's
I
in here.
I didn't mean to scream in the mic. Hava, where you been at, girl?
Talking first, then speak. Hey, how are you? Welcome.
Yeah, I get excited.
Me too. You should.
Yeah. Let me say this though, Casey.
Mhm.
Fam, chat, Miss Sharon, coffee first, then speak. Backwoods, all y'all. Tammy C, Southern, all y'all. Look, I appreciate you guys. And Casey, you are a blessing. I didn't recognize the blessing that you brought at first because it was just like YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because we're doing these lives, I'm getting closer. I'm going back to getting closer to the source, to God, to Jesus, because I'm spending more time like researching and asking questions, like in communion with Him. And it's because of this. It's because of you guys. Like, I know I have to do a live. Let me do my research. Casey, I appreciate y'all so much.
All of you. Yes. These are
Yeah.
this is my tribe, my people, all y'all. Like truly. I mean, even like, subs and like with you, or how many times I hit you up, I'm like, Josh, what do you think about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I do. I mean, we come in here, we talk about these things, and so much of like we're up here, kind of front and center, and we're talking about it. But then I love you guys. Hi, I see all you showing me some love. I do appreciate you. Sometimes we need that renewal of things.
Yes.
Life is, this or that, and we get caught up in things or we get beat down with things, or life is life. And then I just think that, these bless me tremendously. And even sometimes when you just talk it out, it helps you.
Yes. Hey, Casey, can I put you on the spot for a second?
Oh yeah. Okay. Why
No,
not?
it's all good. Hey, tell them what you said. We're backstage talking. Hey, we were like backstage for like 15 minutes just talking.
We said a lot backstage. I don't
about the being out of feeling like you're out of, your body sometimes. Come on, Casey. Don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I asked Josh. I was like, hey, Josh. And it's not a all the time thing. It's not like something you can turn on and off. But I had asked Josh. I had asked you. I was like, Josh, do you ever feel like when you're really connected with God? And I'm saying you can go through scripture, you can read your Bible, we can do these type of things, and then I can pray about something. But then there's sometimes where you're just I'm just having a conversation. It could be privately, silently in your mind. And then I said, do you ever feel like you have a disconnect from your body? I know that sounds weird, to calm down. But what I'm saying is it was like the way I described it, it feels like a lightness.
Yeah.
You feel lighter, and it's this. I don't know how to explain it, and I've had that
Yeah.
a couple times in my life, but then I've had it a couple more times closer together more
Gotcha.
recently,
Really?
and I think it has a lot to do with digging in more, even us having these conversations, things that are
Yeah.
going on around us, and we're in some times to be alive. That I think you better cling on and have that relationship. You're having that conversation. But I've had those moments where it's just, and I don't know that I can even put it into words to describe it. I just was like, do you ever kind of feel that you're kind of disconnected? I mean, I'm fine. I'm
Yes.
usually up doing something. I'm still doing other things. Or I may just be sitting on my couch, but it's a lighter, maybe it's the Holy Spirit, maybe,
Yes.
but
Yes.
but he said, he was like, yeah.
Yeah. See, look, there's some times when I'm doing something and I have to stop and I have to it's like it's not even it's like it seems like it's not even Josh sometimes. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
Josh, I'm like, Josh, man, look at where we're at. We're doing life. We are experiencing this. Can you believe it? And
Does
I'm
it
like,
almost feel like that I don't know if that's the right word. Like a dream state, you feel this weird, it feels different. I really don't know how to put it into words, but
yeah,
that's just, but I did ask you.
I
Now that I'm
love it though.
on the spot.
That's what we talk about, guys, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We're gonna do a whole thing. We're just gonna record behind the scenes.
Oh, they would trip out. Yeah. All right, so forgiveness.
Yeah.
Ah, forgiveness. For me, it's one of the most powerful tools that we have, spiritually speaking, and living in this physical existence. We're spiritual beings, and it's one of the strongest tools that we have. What do you
Yeah.
think, Casey?
Well, I mean, my biggest thing we were talking a while ago is about forgiveness. It truly, most of the time, is not for the person we're trying to forgive. It's for ourselves because
Yes.
it will keep you like a prisoner. It is usually a release of freedom, a peace for yourself because it festers in you,
Hmm.
and then you just kind of keep stewing on it, or it can bring up, you can get bitter, or kind of, because I think with all that brings hatred and everything else. Everything, all the other sins stem from that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So for me, I always use. I'm a spiritual being traveling in this physical reality called life,
Right.
experiencing these physical things, and it seems like there are a lot of things here on this physical plane that can be parasitic. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We talked about hardening your heart, the walls, the walking around with the ball and chain, and I am the short. I was like, what if we couldn't forgive? Oh my, it would be crazy if we could not forgive. But
Right.
but it's like uh, we have this ability to forgive, and to be honest with you, I don't know if a lot of people actually understand or truly realize how strong these abilities that we have are. It's a spiritual ability that comes through. It manifests through emotions. We've got to conquer emotions to get to the spiritual power of forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay, all right. So I think it's logical to me. After I had my revelation, and I'm gonna throw this out here. Check it
Yeah.
out. So people don't realize how real this is. So I'm gonna try to just talk about like an equation for forgiveness, right? So
Yeah.
it's like spiritual mathematics. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 5 times 5 equals 25. It's that simple, right?
Right.
So with forgiveness, unburdening yourself, there's like a for me, there's like an equation for that.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is unburdening yourself. It is setting yourself free. It is your ability to set yourself free. So first and foremost, Casey, you have to have understanding. If you
Yeah.
don't have understanding, forget it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, everything goes with it. And I think we talked about before about confusion about like hardening our hearts and then even think forgiveness. There's such a, uh, that these can kind of blend so much together.
Yes.
And I think it's great that we're doing it,
Yeah.
with
That's
each
amazing.
other. But I was gonna quote, like, because it kind of fits in what you're talking about right now.
Go for it.
But Corey, I love, everybody knows me. I love Corey Ten Boom. I love her. And a lot of her stuff, books, quotes, everything helped me on and off throughout my life. And so I was going to quote some of her stuff, but she went through horrific things and having to forgive the people who did horrific things to her, her family. Most of them died from that. And she said, and one of her things, she said, forgiveness is an act of will, and the will can function regardless of the temperature of the heart.
Wow.
Because that is so true. Because like I said about heart in our hearts, emotions, you cannot go off your emotions, because emotions change, and emotions are like a daggone roller coaster with different things. And you can't base those type of things off of your emotion or this is how I feel. Well, you can't always do that. Now, I'm not talking about when you have the Holy Spirit and say, hey, something's not feeling right about this. You listen to that, but
Yeah.
in these instances,
Amen.
it's an act. And, like I said to you earlier, is forgiveness, a lot of people, is not it's not usually always just a one-time thing. It's a one-time deal. Yep, I forgive you, or I forgive them. This is over. Sometimes you have to do that continuously. You have to do it for yourself. You have to, and it's that act and that will to keep on doing that. And again, I think that's that relationship and that's that communication with God, because it really has to do with forgiveness in your heart, not going to the person or whatever happened. It's about what is in your heart, that I can't let this go, and it's eating at me, and it's festering, and it's building up sinful thoughts and hatred, and on and on and on and on.
Yep.
You need that to go, because the person who did something that you may forgive, they're probably may not even be thinking about that anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone for them, know.
They dropped it off and they left, and now you're stuck with it.
Right.
Okay. All right. So for the understanding, the equation, unburdening yourself, for the understanding. So this is how I do it. This is how I roll. And I guess most people, the fam. What up, Donna? I guess
I see all you guys over there.
a lot of people.
I want to throw this up here. I think we all do. And I think there's a difference about forgiving. It's not like, oh, you forgive, you forget, and it just goes away. I don't. And we had some stuff we were going to touch on that, but I understand exactly. I know what you're saying. Go ahead. Sorry, Josh. I interrupted you. It was actually the chat. So.
No, you're good. Like, my screen went blank for a sec, but we're good.
It's because you're hanging with me. You know how that goes.
It might be that snow that we're not having in Texas right now. Okay, so understanding, right? We're talking about unburdening yourself, forgiving others. So understanding, this is how I roll. And this is just, I had that revelation when I was younger, and it changed things for me. So what I do is understanding. It's discernment. Pray for discernment, pray for understanding. But I had to understand that a lot of people who were coming at me left, just crazy. Like, why are you coming at me like that? They have things in their past. Look, right. As a baby, nobody comes into this physical existence lazy or mean.
Right.
Or nobody. It's either taught, it's parasitic. It's either taught or it's passed on. Some form of a bias, abuse is a huge drug abuse, all the abuses, they're all parasitic.
Right.
And so right now, seriously, when I come into contact with people, I don't have a lot of friends. I got y'all, fam. I appreciate y'all. Casey.
You're like me. Stay in my little nook.
Seriously. But the world has gotten so, I don't want to call it crazy, but crazy that almost everybody that I meet, like in the real physical world, they have you can sense they have these like parasitic type things going on. So and so I have to try and understand like what could have caused this person to be like this. When Jesus spoke, it was parables, it was questions. So when that person is at the corner asking, knocking on your car window saying, hey, you got $5, buddy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Most times I'm like, man, come on, I gave you $5 last week. Get out of here. But Jesus would already know and all that other good stuff. But he would have a question for him. What is it that you truly seek? Why are you here? It's trying to understand. That's what he taught more than anything else when he walked this earth, was understanding, more so than get out of here, be gone. You know what I mean? Get
Yeah,
out.
I always try to I do, I always try, and I say this all the time, I always try to give people the same grace I would want. Because
Yeah.
none of us are immune to different things we may see another person situation they're in. Yes, we all have life choices and think I would never do the things they did, and I understand that. And our lot of situations will be different, but I do. I always try to give the grace I would want, but that doesn't mean to be a doormat and just
Yes. Yeah.
either.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember that question that I asked you in the backstage? Hey, we're gonna present that to the chat because I really don't know, but we'll get into that question.
Okay, okay.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of understanding, right? And it's probably a pretty common thing, but getting a little personal. But so my mom and my dad, right? They split. They married early, 18, 19. Had me a couple years later. Had my little sister, and then they split. And so for me growing up, young man, I'm trying to find my way, trying to do the manly thing. You know what I'm saying? But my little sister, Tiff, love you, Tiff, if she watches this, she had a extremely hard time.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, she took on the burden that she didn't have like the house with the picket fence and the mom and the dad and everything was perfect. She took it upon herself to kind of it was me or whatever it was.
Right.
And so I knew that this was something that she dealt with for years. And I came to the understanding, right? The understanding that for me, and later, this is how I helped her get over it. That they were young. You know what I mean? A lot of people just
Right.
don't understand how parents could just have me and split. But I was like, Tiff, look, what were you doing when you were 18 and 19? She's 4 years under me, but what were you doing? Do
Right.
do you think that you could have formed a marriage that would last, a lifetime at 18 or 19? And
Mhm.
she was like, I was like, I know what you were doing, and you were horrible,
Mhm.
just all over the place. I remember, the boyfriends and the fights, and I said,
Right.
so look, you can't be mad or put yourself in that position when you had nothing to do with it. You can't cast the first stone. And for her, that was the first instance of gaining some type of understanding about that situation.
Right.
She's like, yeah, yeah,
Because you gotta put yourself that's why I do. I think that's like giving that grace to put
yeah,
yourself but that doesn't mean that you always say, you know,
yeah,
just go with it and be like, "Okay, everything's excusable." That's not what I'm saying.
right.
But, you know,
Yes. Yeah. Well, the
you
acceptance is that was the accepting the fact was even harder, but the understanding was it was starting to form. You know what I mean? Like she's okay with it now. She understands. She's accepted it.
right,
And yeah, she's you know productive, but we have to get an understanding about what's going on. And a
right.
lot of times we don't know, and a lot of times we don't care to know. It's that's not my business.
Yeah.
Be gone. But we really have to seek understanding. Look, I get comments in my videos sometimes, and I'm like, all the fam is cool, but then I get like one or two, and they're just off the chain, and I'm just like, why do they
Yeah.
have to?
Oh, yeah.
They're arguing with everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Raise.
Well, we've talked about how, people will be sent to pull you off or distract you from your path or to
That's
tempt
understanding.
you or whatever the situation. That will happen.
Yeah, that's understanding, and I'm gonna tell you how much you've taught me just doing these lives. That's understanding. So
Yeah.
I'll go to that comment, and I'll try to make amends. You know what I mean? Once, maybe twice. If they're still acting up, then they gotta go. Well, because
Right.
we said 3 times, and that's it. That's all you got, buddy.
All right.
Yeah,
Strike one.
that's it. You're working on it. I'm
You're
trying to
trying to
understand you.
season me.
Yeah, I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to understand you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we have to pray for more understanding. Look, one of the most famous sayings is pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You know
Right.
what I mean? And a lot of people are like, I can't help you. I can't do this for you. I can't. I'm not saying do it for them or help them or give them, but just try to understand what could have possibly been hindering that person at an early stage in their development or whatever it is. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because we're all trying to figure this thing out. We're all here doing life. And
Yeah.
the fact that we know that we're all here doing life, and they don't have a clue. They're
Right.
oblivious to the. They don't
Well,
even know.
those who are lost, I think, are even more so to keep on and not get out, whatever the situation is, um,
Yes.
or the behavior. I would think not always, because
Yeah.
believe me, I can be in my flesh about things, but there have been
Me too.
times I've wondered about. I've wondered about people. Somebody could be really horrific or doing horrific things. Now it could be somebody on our, you know, we meet every day in life, or somebody I see on a story or something we hear about, and I always think, like how you had said, at some point
Mhm.
they something switched and turned in them. Well,
Yeah.
what was that? Because they didn't come out at one point. They were a baby, they were a little toddler and a little kid,
Yes.
and they were this innocence and happy and playful or whatever. Now, yes, does that a lot of it could have been a home life. It could have been the repeating behaviors of the parents. It could have been something on and on. But I do try to. Usually you can feel. I talk all the time about discernment and praying about that. And sometimes you can feel that difference. And we talk about having that relationship. Sometimes
Yes.
God will just lay on me and I'll think something, still feel sorry for this person. I pray for them. Or if somebody passes and they've done horrific things, like, well, that was part of their lifestyle, I still have a thing. Even as people in the news, like, man, that was a horrific person. They did horrible things. I always think, God, I hope they got right with God before they left.
Seriously.
Because no matter what is going on in this world, in our flesh right now, hell or heaven is for eternity.
Yes.
And there's no fixing that afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna tap into Luke 34:23. That's what changed everything for me. That's
Okay.
one of the most powerful scriptures as far as forgiveness is concerned for me. Seriously. I'll pull this up because I thought this was pretty cool. It's what is forgiveness? It's just an article.
Right.
Is it okay if I read
Yes,
it?
go for it.
All right, so look, when I'm in the spirit, which I feel like I am right now with you guys, I appreciate y'all, chat. I pay attention to words. Words mean a lot to me. I don't know why, but spiritually they do. So I'm just gonna read this definition, and this is from it's not Webster's, it's I don't know, the Greater Good magazine, but it sounds legit. So psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards a person or a group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness or not. That says a
Everything.
lot.
Yeah, because I don't think that you cannot base your forgiveness on somebody deserving it, because you know what? Every one of us don't deserve Christ's forgiveness.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who are we to sit there and say they don't deserve this? And you know, I, let me get into, I talked about, I think it's important to understand when we talk about forgiveness, and I think this is a hang up on, we also have to talk about what forgiveness is not.
Okay.
And I think that is important. I think it's a hold up. So I wrote down a couple things before we came in here.
Okay.
Forgiveness is not, and if you want to stop and touch on any of them while I'm
Oh, do
going,
you think? I'm learning.
forgiveness is not approving or dismissing the sin, abuse, harm that was done. That doesn't dismiss it and say that's like that forgive and forget. That isn't just dismiss it. And like I said, usually if the forgiveness is what is hindering in your heart, it isn't actually about telling them. It's about you having that conversation with God and you releasing that.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is not enabling sin or abuse. Same, way. It's not enabling. And like I said, forgiveness is not forgetting. Like people have been asking, I saw that in there. It isn't about forgetting, but you're not letting it fester and control and eat at you and cause you to sin either.
Exactly.
Forgiveness does not stop the pain.
That's a good one, Casey. Go ahead.
Because I think that we have this thing like I'm still hurt and devastated, traumatized, whatever, about what XYZ that happened to me or was done to me. So if I'm not, I think a lot of people are like, I'm not ready to forgive because I'm still hurting. That's not the same. That's not what that means.
Casey, I love it. No, that's the accepting the fact that's the accepting. My
and
equation.
You may still hurt after you forgive, but you have to release that. That's part of the healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that. Oh, and I said this a while ago. I think I did, or maybe it's when we were talking backstage. Forgiveness is not a one-time event. Like I
Yeah.
said, I have stuff that happened, in my past younger life and everything that it took me until I was in my late 20s to figure a lot of this out because I just was like, absolutely not. This was
Yeah.
horrific. I don't know how to, I don't even comprehend how to forgive something that went on.
Right.
But it is today, even now, even, 20 something years later, when I came to that realization and understanding about it, there are times where something will open, to kind of fester up, that little box kind of opens up, something will make you, something comes kind of front and center with you and it'll bother me. So, and I'll start feeling that feeling and I have to, again, forgive
Yeah.
over and you may have to do it over and over. And when you first start doing that, you may have to do it more often.
Yes.
So it's not just a one and done. And people are like, well, of course I'm not ready because I'm not going to do it because I'm not ready. Don't let that hold you back because that is keeping you prisoner, not that person. Forgiveness is not neglecting or stopping justice. I mean, how many times do we see on the news about maybe you see these court things? This said person, maybe they killed somebody else there in court, and the other family of the person that was killed was there, and they have
Yeah.
to forgive them. They get up there and do it, and other times it doesn't. Well, you still have to pay for what you have done. That is justice, whatever level that is, whether it's a court system or we reap what we sow. Even if it was a God thing, saying you still had to pray for justice had to be done for what you have done. That doesn't void that out just because you forgive.
Yeah.
And the big one for me is forgiveness is not reconciliation. I'm not saying it can't be. You can forgive people and have reconciliation. But I think there's such a big thing about if I forgive, then we're going to kind of, I talked about stuff in my past. That doesn't mean like, okay, I have to forgive them because, Christ told me to forgive them, to be Christ-like. Well, now y'all just come back up into my home and life.
Gotcha.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you 1,000%.
And I think that there's a big thing we have to understand what forgiveness isn't. So we're able to really forgive.
Yeah.
Because I think people put that all together.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Hey, can we actually chat a question? That one question that I had? That one question that I had? Because
pay attention.
Hey, Miss Sharon, Donna, I can't figure this out. Captain, Lady Smith, G, what up, G?
All of y'all.
Yeah, look.
Front City, y'all about to be tested.
No, I'm just saying, look, so backstage, I was like, hey, Casey, I got one question. So is there ever a time that we are not to forgive? Seriously, is it anywhere in the Bible? And I'm asking because I don't know. Is there a legitimate time to not forgive? Because backwoods, I don't know. What do you say?
Listen, in a Southern sense, I will tell you, sometimes bless your heart means you best run. That's all I'm going to say.
Donna,
yeah, I mean, so yeah. All right, chat on Josh. Is there ever a time biblically that you don't have to forgive or you shouldn't forgive? What is there times in the Bible where God did not forgive?
Donna, come on. Random.
Did God forgive Satan?
Oh,
cast him down.
She's got to throw a wrench in the question, doesn't she?
I'm just asking.
That's a legit. Yeah, that's legit though. You think there's some things that we just will never know?
Absolutely. I think there's a whole bunch of stuff we'll never know. We're not supposed to know on this side.
Wow, spelling. What is that? Wow, spelling.
I think he spelled something up. He said
blasphemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blasphemy. Miss Sharon. that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Huckleberry, you are a lie. I'm calling this out right now. I know that's a lie.
Wait, what? Wait, what? I think Miss
No, but I mean, you do.
Blasphemy.
You have to wonder. But I'm telling you, there are answers we as humans could not handle on this side of paradise to know. I don't think we can. Yeah. And we can't know it all.
Yeah. Hey, there is another situation in my life that like took me to like the edge of possibly not being here anymore. And it built a rage. It built a rage in me. And look, I talk about living this physical existence, this physical life, and we've got to experience things. This is one experience that like it pushed me to my absolute edge. And if I didn't know the Lord, if I didn't have a way to talk with God, I probably really wouldn't be here right now. It
Oh yeah.
enraged me. And even just thinking about it right now, I can still those emotions still bubble up.
Oh yeah.
I've
Yeah.
forgiven. Yeah. I've forgiven, accepted, and all that stuff. So I can control it. I can deal with it. But
Yeah.
but it's there, compartmentalized,
You got to sit in the
dealt with.
shadows sometimes with things, right?
Yeah.
That's what I
But
say. I still do
yeah.
with heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I hate the word trigger because of what it is made into this day and age. But
Yeah.
there are things in our life that you ever just it could be something simple.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a song, maybe it's a certain smell, maybe it's something that reminds you of at this event, maybe it's an old street. I'm just going, it could be a million things.
Yeah.
And that same sickness, that same anxiety, that same heaviness, that same sweat, that same all thing will come back up. And
Yes.
there's been times stuff that went on in my life that I would have that feeling, and I would, uh, you know, and I'll use this. I will use this thing from Corey Ten Boom, but I have to, but it's fitting.
All right. Do it. Do it.
And because I can relate to this, and because of this, something she had done, she had talked about, and I'm paraphrasing it. I can relate, and it helped me. So she was going to all these speaking events. This is way after everything she had been through in the concentration camps and everything. She was at a
Uh-huh.
speaking event at this church, and at the end, she had seen some guy coming up, and it was one of the Nazi guards that
Oh
had
wow.
killed when her sister died.
You're supposed to spell it out, Casey. You're supposed to spell that out. All right,
I'm
never
on every
mind.
list there
All
is.
right, never mind. Go ahead,
Anyway,
do your thing.
so anyways, she said he was coming up there. He was coming to her at this speaking event to ask
Mhm.
her for forgiveness. She didn't know. And she saw him.
Oh,
And when she saw him, she was enraged with that same anger and hatred and sadness and all of everything that, she was thinking about her sister and what had happened in the concentration camps, on and on and on.
wow.
And she went through that. And so he was coming up to her asking her for forgiveness. And of course that wasn't her immediate feeling, but she had said she started praying silently, and she's like, all right, because he put his hand out to shake her hand and wanted to ask her for forgiveness. And
Uh-huh.
she said, God, all I can do is I can put my hand out, but you're going to have to supply the rest to help this because this isn't my initial feeling.
Gotcha.
But she said, all I had to do was do my part. And I just thought, all I got is I can shake this man's hand without hurting him, because she was enraged with that. And this was so many decades later.
Yeah.
And she said, as soon as she touched his hand, she felt that and God working through her. God
Wow.
was able to work through her to do the forgiveness. Then,
Yeah.
because there's so much, and that's what I'm saying about that relationship, because there's things that have happened to people throughout this life that on our own, we cannot forgive. We cannot get past that. That's why you got to have that relationship and pray for that. Like with what she had went through, she couldn't do it on her own. And she prayed silently right then because she thought, this is not how I feel. I don't
Yes.
care if he's in here now asking me forgiveness. I can't get past what he did. And we will have, some of us will
Mhm.
have things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna tap in a little bit about that situation I was telling you about, right?
Yeah.
So we fam up in here. So when my mother passed, she was a bus driver, right? I'm gonna show you how tough this is. She was a bus driver.
Right.
And she had a bus route. She only did it for like 6 months, but she did it in like the worst neighborhood possible in Atlanta.
Right.
She was like, Josh, I'm bussing and fighting with these kids in the back of the bus. They're spitting and cursing and dancing and jumping over seats. And I was like, well, look, just quit that job. You don't need it. Your blood pressure's high. You're stressed out. Just quit it. So from what I understand, she had a extremely bad confrontation, not a physical one, but a verbal one, with
Right.
6 of the kids on the bus. Right.
Mhm.
So the story goes, she drove the bus 200 feet, got out, knocked on somebody's door. She fell out and she died. That's
Mhm.
my story. So now we're going to tap in. So understanding and accepting. I called the schools to try to get pictures of the cameras on the bus. They
Right.
didn't have 'em.
Hmm.
I hired a private investigator. That was like $2,500. He couldn't get any information. I called multiple attorneys. I paid 1,500 here, 1,000 there. They couldn't get any information. Uh, and that was it. That was it. I I wanted to find out at least the names of some of the younger adults so I could talk to their parents.
Right.
Nothing. Nothing.
Hmm.
And so in that situation, that's why I was saying I wanted to go back to Atlanta and
Oh,
just,
you were ready.
oh yeah, you had no idea. I would have been on the news. But because I had to be tough for the family and understanding God, that was it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh, I had to understand that this is His plan,
Hmm.
and it wasn't anybody's fault. This was His plan, and He chose this time. It-
Hmm.
the understanding that it required to get me through this was crazy, but I pulled it off. And then, I would hear stories. Other bus drivers, they would tell me like stories of like how bad it was, and I'd be like, I didn't want to hear that. So
Right.
then I got the understanding that it's that's why I live my life the way that I do. I have no control. No one has control. I can go right now. Anybody can go at any particular time.
That's right.
So with that understanding, I got to a point as to where I literally had to accept it, and I had to get over it so that I could move on. And
You
and
do. And
yeah,
I think that's a big thing about we're not going to get all the answers.
exactly.
We do to this day, we do not know why our daughter passed. And like I said, that wasn't easy, but same thing. It's like, because I think that we feel like
Yeah.
our flesh here on this earth is like, no, I need all the details. You
Yes.
give them to me and let me go through this because this is going to help me understand better. And if I understand better, I'm going to be able to heal better.
Right.
And we do think that.
Uh-huh.
But you could get everything in of it and be like, okay, but they're still gone.
Right.
And I don't want them. I'm selfish. I want them here.
Yes.
And it took me a while because, but I understand that this is a missing piece and I need to know
Right.
and it can make you angry. And
Oh
it can
man.
go, and I was angry. That was the first time in my life. And I had shared that as the first time in my life I'd ever been angry at God. And I
Right.
had been through some stuff in my life way before that had happened in my
Um,
childhood. And so I do understand that. And it took me a long time to let go of that. I guess my selfish part in me, because
yeah.
now that she is,
Right.
in paradise, even if I knew I was healing. Now,
Mhm.
I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. That's part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I knew I had healed when I would honestly say, even if I could, I wouldn't bring her back. Why would I bring her back to this world if she's in paradise?
Yes.
Because one day I'm going to be with her.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Now,
that's it.
do I miss her? I mean, she's been gone for 14 years,
Yeah.
and that ache is always there,
Yes.
and it's worse sometimes than others.
Mm-hmm.
But I know she's okay. Why would I bring her to this horrific world out of
Right.
perfect eternity?
Yeah.
And I understand those things of no, I want to know and I want to fight, and we went through that early on.
Right.
For a while, I needed to know. I need to know. Why can't they tell me anything? And that's like you. It's like I'm going to do everything in my power because I
Yeah.
want somebody to tell me what happened. I want all the details.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna pay. I'm
Yes.
you know.
And so at that time,
Uh-huh.
the only person I could be mad at is God
Gotcha.
because I had to push the blame somewhere because I
Uh-huh.
was so broken.
Yeah. I
But it
understand.
wasn't really that. It was a brokenness. What is that saying? It goes, it's like I sat with grief long enough. No, I sat with
Yeah.
anger long enough until I realized that her name was grief.
Mm-hmm. I think you told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, So I tell that story. I get personal. I tell that story just because, look, y'all have never heard that story from me, but you know that I'm like, fam, we gotta love everybody. We have to do the best we can. We have to forgive. Casey, we're up here talking about forgiving and accepting and moving on and unburdening ourselves spiritually. And after the things that we have been through, look, I could have been I could have been a hardened person who's just
Oh yeah.
like, but I did it just pushes me further because I've found that level of understanding and acceptance and forgiveness. And I know how important it is to us as a fam, as a whole, that it's something like you said, it's not just the one and done.
Yeah.
We legitimately, to the benefit of others, have to continuously use understanding and forgiveness to we're in crazy times, Casey. We were just talking about that.
Oh yeah.
More
And
than
we don't know
yes.
on so many levels. It's not just like, well, this is kind of going on right now. I mean, it doesn't matter which way. That's talk about your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
Everywhere which way my head looks, there's something different going on. We don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And we don't know. And none of us are immune to the things that could come. But we had talked about before, I know something else Josh, and I had talked, and we had said
Yeah.
nothing, and I had to come to acceptance with this stuff. Nothing is going to stop or change when God calls our name home.
Mhm.
And nothing's going to stop or change that. When it is our time, and gosh knows here on earth, the ones who are left, the suffer is for the ones who are left behind, us who are still here. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're
Us.
fine. And so I think that nothing's going to change that. And it could be any time. So here on earth, we miss them. I mean, in heaven, it's but a blink what our time is here.
That's it.
And so they're not grieving and missing us up there like we are for them here, but you better love on them now.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did I think our daughter would pass, ever. We were blindsided by that. And it was a second.
Yeah.
And you can't, and I'm not saying you don't love your children, but I mean, that's why I always say I'm a big person on give the same grace you would want, and you better pick your battles because life is
that's beautiful.
Seriously,
Yes.
I mean, and believe me, I'm far from perfect about anything, and I have my struggles. I have things that I have to work on in myself, and that's why it's a continual relationship.
Yes. Yeah. Teresa, me too. I would love to, Teresa.
Yeah. We will
Yeah.
though one day. If you are right in your heart, you will be. And I think that's one of my things. I'm gonna be real personal. When in December when I had that cardiac event, and I haven't had.
I got you.
That was my first day. I was like, you tell them I didn't take it. Casey was lying.
Yeah, no.
But I remember there was a second. I looked at my husband Huckleberry. He's in here, and this is a risk factor for some of the genetic things I carry. And I said, "Do you think this is it?"
Yeah.
Because there was that risk. And then there was times when I was at the hospital, I thought, all right, if this God, if this comes to be my time, and I've had something like that before, then I have to entrust you that if you were okay with it, I have to be okay with it. Because my thing is always leaving my children here. But then I do think about, because we used to make a thing, my husband and I used to make a thing about like, who's gonna go get our daughter first? Who's gonna go see her first? Not like, we're trying to rush it. But I mean, I thought, but I do think about that. If I've ever had a fear, because when I went through that medical situation after her and everything, and I mean, I almost died, when that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, physically, I had a medical thing that transpired that night. And so I developed anxiety and panic attacks. I never had them in my life because I lost her and I had something go on. And
that's a lot, Casey.
It was a lot. It changed me forever. It changes you. But I just, I have that piece of like, okay, if I'm going to go, I know I'll be with her now.
Yes.
So you have to find peace on both sides. Now, is that easy? No, because what we know, we're scared of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
My thing as a mother, I don't want to leave my children here. Yeah. I don't want that. I'm supposed to be an old lady, right? And Mama's so old, and then she went, peacefully in her sleep, like we all want to think it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the reality is, different things, and you better be ready for yourself, and you better love on your people now. And that's not living in doom and gloom. That's you better not have regrets because you didn't.
Yeah. That ball and chain people carrying around, y'all better start unhooking them, getting rid of them. It'll hold you back. Yeah. Can I kick a verse?
Yes, please do.
This is what led me to my revelation. It's and it's the verse for me. It's the verse of all verses. This is what showed me, man. Jesus was so awesome. Jesus is so awesome. It's like a rock star to me. You don't understand. Like, I wish that I could, like, you know what I'm saying? Envision. Anyways, all right. Luke 23:34. Jesus said, "Father, come on, y'all. Seriously, fam." He said, "Father, forgive them. There is no way somebody can be beating me up, not killing me, but beating me up." And I'm gonna be like,
just
please forgive him for beating me. No, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. Mm-hmm. That is absolute ultimate love. That's crazy. Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing, and they divided up his cloth by casting lots. Just that right there. I don't know if I have that much power. I don't know if I have that much spirituality.
But see, that goes back to the whole Corrie ten Boom thing. I don't think we are, because, well, no, we're not Jesus. But I don't think that we are. I don't think that we. Yeah. That's why I think we have to have God in our life. We have to have Jesus, because we have to have that help from Him, and only He could give us in situations like that. Yeah. Could you imagine?
No.
I'd be like, you better take them out, because I'm done.
Yeah. I want them all to die.
Right?
Father, take them out. All of them. Right now.
I mean, there's, but then you see the flesh side of God. You remember how He went into the wilderness and He cried, He wept, and He was scared. He was so scared. And He said, "Is there any other way?"
Yes. Yeah.
Because He was still in the flesh, right?
That's beautiful.
Here in man form. Yeah. So we have to understand that also, when we have fear and we have a weak moment, and we're grieving, or we're crying, we're fearful, we're angry, whatever.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things people think that, oh, well, you're saved. You have this, you're not supposed to feel certain emotions. Absolutely. That is so. And if you're sitting underneath anyone and they're telling you that, you need to get up and walk out.
I agree.
I mean, because that's steering people wrong, because then people think, well, no matter what, anything. I think that need to understand. I just think they need to understand it's about a relationship, and He will do things through you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. With Him, through you. Yes. Yeah. Hey, going back to forgiveness. Hey, have you ever said this, Casey? This came to me like when I was driving, and I was like, hey, in the backstage, we were talking about how we talk to ourselves in our vehicles about this stuff.
People think I'm crazy.
Me too. Look, the guy came by asking for money. I was like, just go, bro. I'm having a conversation with myself. Yeah. Look, hey, have you ever said this? I didn't look at it that way. But now since you put it that way, you're right. Yeah. I guess I was wrong. I guess I could look at it a different way.
Right.
That's the understanding and the acceptance of forgiving. We've all said that.
How much of that it becomes pride? We talked about some of the biggest things about not forgiving is not understanding what forgiveness really is and isn't, but also pride gets in the way. How much does pride get? But like, I am not forgiving them for what they did. Yeah. They don't deserve to be forgiven for what they did.
Yes.
How much that's pride? Mm-hmm. And we've all been there at some point in our life, all of us. And you got to work on that. God's got to work on that with you. Have that relationship. Have them conversations. And I think people need to understand, you can be bluntly, completely honest, blatantly honest with conversations with God. Because I'm telling you, sweethearts, He knows, okay? You don't even got to say it. He just waiting for you to give it up and be honest with Him. But He knows.
Yeah. Look, I love a lot of people, and I'm close to, a few people on this planet, but there are certain conversations that I will only have with God.
Of course.
That is just the way that it is. Hey, can we do this? Because I'm curious. hey, chat. Let's get them involved a little bit. So
Yeah, I know.
look,
I've been ignoring chat tonight.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good. But I just want to see. I want who has said that before. Who has had an issue or a problem, and they were just like, nope, I ain't doing it. And then somebody else came in, a girlfriend or a homeboy or a sister or a brother or a mom, and you wind up saying, I didn't look at it that way. Or
Yes, Snoopy said the
yeah,
same thing. I hadn't looked at it that way.
yeah, or
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. I was wrong. I can try to, who give him a number. Give him a number. Press 2. Press press 2.
My favorite
Press,
number 7, so we're just gonna do 7s over here.
press 7 if you said that before. And
Yeah.
I better see him. Because we've all said it. I'm
Yeah.
looking. Snoopy, Allison, Coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know. Coffee first, then
Miss
speak.
Sharon got a 7. There you go. She's a first in the house.
Miss Sharon got a 2.
It is true. And I mean, God will humble you in a certain way. You ever feel that tug? You ever feel that tug and you're wrestling with God too? Be like, no. And it's like, God, shall I take you? And you're like, I'm not even listening to this right now.
Yeah. It's not happening.
That's true. And I think that's the pride, but that's why. But see, you see all this connects, and God knew exactly what he was doing and how we made up and how our mindset and our feelings and emotions and all the stuff goes, because what does he say about pride in the Bible?
Yeah. We got
I'm not saying you can't take pride. Take pride in your work. Take pride. That's people get so confused also, but yeah. Let's see.
We got a 2 and a 7. Anthony Crouch.
Just do them all. Just push all the numbers.
Today.
Yeah, see? And that's why things are continuous. Things, honestly, you may have to repeatedly forgive. You may have to repeatedly. I mean, we talked about this. What was it last week? Where we say about we'll go like, oh, you just go kind of lay some on the cross. You kind of like, no, I'm gonna give this to God because I can. And then you'll be like, I'll go pick it back up.
Right.
We do that.
Yeah.
And that's not a simple thing. That is but we're still having that relationship. And God, the thing is, God knows us better than we know ourselves.
Preach it.
So the things that he knows we're struggling with, he knows before we even start struggling with it. He knows that I know how they're going to react to this because I know them. Yeah. So he's aware of that. He still chose us. He still loves us. He still has us how he made us in his image. We're all different. He knows that. Mm-hmm. He wants that relationship. And he's working on us as long as we don't give up and we continue that relationship. Don't let people discourage you about, that you're sinning. You're sinning. Hellfire, damnation.
Yeah.
Please don't get,
casting stones. Come on, people. Yeah. I love this, man. Seriously, I'm not gonna lie to you. Look, out of all the things that I do in the day, seriously, work, all the things that I do, I feel like this, fam. Hey, y'all being here means the absolute world to me. Look, I'm sharing things with y'all that like a lot of people just don't know, but this feels like we're doing the work, because everybody who showed up didn't have to show up in this chat, but they did.
That's right.
And I feel like we're working spiritually preparedness. I feel like we're doing it together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I never could imagine that, something like this could happen. Seriously, like everybody that's here, it's awesome. I love it. It's working. Yeah.
I will. Let me address this real quick. People get unsub from me every day, all the time, lumps, purges at a time. And I have yet to hear anyone, and I don't know how many months, say they're just not getting notifications from me. So that may be a YouTube thing on me, but yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Numbers, I'm not even worried about it anymore. Seriously. I was at like 35. I was at 3530. And I was like, what? The channel's growing. And then guess what? I looked today, it was like 35.
Google heard you say it out loud, and then they were like, oh no.
Yeah. 3518. I'm like, wait, what happened? I'm done with the numbers, man. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's if I'm supposed to be going in a certain direction, then I'm gonna go. I'm not worried about the numbers anymore. As long as
I try not to keep up. I look when a bunch of people start getting up with me. I'm like, I I keep getting unsubbed. I have to keep redoing. I'll go look and I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh my gosh, I'm 20, 30, 100 less than I was. And then you'll get gain and they always mess with that. Oh, thank you, Donna. You didn't have to do that, but I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Donna's the
Donna,
best.
say it.
What?
Say
What?
it.
What do
Say
you
it.
want me to say? What am I
Donna, you know
supposed
you're my
to
homegirl.
say? Appreciate you, Donna.
Wait a minute.
Hey, I had some chips.
We gotta work on this. I gotta have to pray about that one. I'm just
No, I hear you. Yeah. Uh-huh. Nah. Yeah, it's all good. Mm-hmm. Donna's awesome. The everybody in here is awesome.
They are. I constantly have to back. I'm serious. I have the best community in my chat. See, and the thing is even I mean, like Josh, Josh and I are up here and we do this thing.
Yeah.
And then nobody's up here by accident. You may have stumbled in here,
Yeah.
whatever. I just happened to pop on, saw you on there. You're not. Josh and I don't have these conversations for nothing at the right time. I'm telling you, it's all God knows, and He will lead you. And I just it is. But I think how long have we been doing this? A couple months where we said we got this big thing, and all of a sudden we were just like, you better be spiritually preparing. Yeah, keep stacking, but we can't keep on talking about this. We go back in different things. But I mean, I think this has been heavy on me for a while, and it remains heavy on me. Gotcha. Because we don't know. I think I saw Monique in here. Hi, are you lurking? Hi.
What up, Monique?
I listen as I'm busy. A lot of different channels. I'm like, I'm listening, but I'm doing something else. But I'm listening.
Yeah,
I get it.
I'm driving. Hey, let me ask you this. let me ask you, because this, is prepping channel, preparing this channel.
Yeah.
Hey, you think you could ask for forgiveness before you do something? We're talking WRL and shift. You know what I'm saying? Like the world's going crazy. Like, God, look, nah, I don't think you can.
I mean, I guess you can say, Lord, I know there's going to be bad things that come about. But you know what? We think about that. Yeah. But look at the violence of survival and wars and different things that were biblical.
Uh-huh.
Look at the things that were people, places, people, and everything that were destroyed biblically for things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can always, pray like anything that, I may fall short or I may do.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still got
a family starving. They come to the house.
I mean, it doesn't cover you. You don't go pray for it and go do whatever, and then you're like, "Oh, I was covered." I prayed for that before I left the house.
A family starving with 2 kids. They come to your house. WRL shift. We're like 2 months in, and all they want is like an egg or 2, and that's all you have for years. And you're like,
"That's all I have left."
I'm sorry, y'all got to go.
You mean that's all I have left for mine?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, about
Casey,
the fish, about
give
the fish
the
and the basket and the oil and all that. But I mean, I would not let my own starve for anyone.
Jesus will provide for you. Carry on.
That's why I told y'all to learn foraging. You better go out in the woods.
Yeah. I got these berries right over there. You could. There's some. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and like I said, there's not a lot of stuff we know.
Right. I am worried about that aspect of it, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am, fam.
About the
what's coming.
What the things that we may do or have to do.
Yeah.
Well, I think that always goes back to I'm gonna put this up here, Sheila. I love me some Sheila.
What up, Sheila?
See, and that's why we do these things, because it's for us, it's for y'all, it's us, all of us. I just totally just want a squirrel. I don't something shiny.
That's all right.
My train of thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything that we're gonna go through in that. If you just talk about war times or hard times or depressions or anything like that, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be messy.
Yeah.
We're going to do things we never thought we would ever do.
Men's heart will fail them.
Yeah. And I think that the continual relationship, you're going to have to. You're not going to hide anything from him anyway. So you might as well, because if you keep having that, I think he'll lead you more than if you're like silent to him.
Yeah.
Like it may be somebody comes to your door And there may be, like we talked about that before about
Uh-huh.
people about money. And sometimes you're like, I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I'm not comfortable. This is about to be
Yeah.
a bad situation. There's other
Right.
times I told you I've been driving and God's like, you better turn around.
Yeah.
I'm
All
like,
right.
God, tag on it. Okay. And then I have to just let that go and let that be between them and God. I think that is that Holy Spirit and that relationship that you have to be in tune with. But see, this day and age, this world, how much is it that's drowned out because we are full of distractions.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they've done that on purpose because, I've said this before, in biblical times, God can do everything he did back then, he can do today. It's just that they didn't have the distractions we have today. And they were not told no, that, as much like the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. Seriously. It's like so right now, like it's I know the economy's jacked and things are crazy, right? Like
Right.
morality is like disappearing and stuff. But we can still have these conversations. We can still use our ability to forgive like when we choose. But
Right.
where we're headed, uh, I'm seeing like just confusion. I'm seeing like up is down, down is up. Nobody's really, you know what I mean? Like a lot of things are really, the foundations are really gonna get tested and twisted. And so
Right.
if we don't have this solidified now, then I can't even imagine in a time of like unrest or upheaval of the
Yeah.
craziness we talk about. I can't even imagine trying to still do the same things that we're doing now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's good that we're having these conversations.
All right, Josh, you on this, right?
I saw it backwards. I saw it. I saw it. Hey,
I could be way behind in chat. I apologize if I am.
do your thing. Hey, backwards. As far as I'm starting to lean towards that. The more and more, the more and more I'm learning about this whole AI thing. I'm starting to lean towards that. Yeah, I really am. Yeah. Are you keeping up with any of that stuff? Not to veer off course, but are you keeping
No,
up with
go
any of
ahead.
that?
We just go with it.
Are you keeping up with any of the AI stuff?
Yes.
Man,
Let me,
look, go ahead.
yeah, and a lot of people think there's certain. I don't even. Can we say his name is on here begins with an E? That he's some wonderful this one? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no. We talk about Antichrist stuff.
Yeah.
Satan does not know when the second coming is coming.
Ah.
Jesus himself does not know of the hour of when God is
Ah.
going to do that, right? So there's always people talk about, Antichrist. There always has to be an Antichrist in place, but it may not be the final Antichrist because Satan has to he doesn't know when he's coming back.
Yeah.
So I think there's been many,
Is that who you're talking about?
huh?
Is that who you're talking about? Elon. Miss Sharon was like,
Yeah.
Elon.
Yeah.
People
People like,
that went
oh,
totally
man,
over
I'm
my
like,
head. I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna catch on in a second.
yeah, I think he's for all of that.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And I don't think he's human. That's just my opinion. I do
Yeah,
not.
yeah. If you listen to him talk, it's like
His
code.
Have you seen like how his his trunk cavity it's got this weird shape in that big line around his it doesn't even look like I don't know. I
What,
don't know.
Casey?
I'm
What?
not joking. And this isn't
I'm
like
like
off the
looking.
walls. I'm not joking. I don't think that he's human.
You're gonna have me looking now.
Go
I'm
look.
gonna be like, it's just Casey.
I mean, that's just my thing. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
But I think but my big thing is with the stuff with AI
Uh-huh.
that has to do with the mark. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that would go with Antichrist stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think that all comes, but I think that is coming. That is
Yeah.
going to be what the mark is. I mean, it says it. It's I think all of that is blended. That's all together. That's all
Yeah.
one thing. So yeah.
Not to
See,
go on.
this is what I'm talking about. I don't think I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is an AI. I don't know.
Really, Miss Sharon? I'm gonna be watching it now.
I'm just
gonna be
saying.
like, Jessica, is he?
Why would AI warn us about? Okay. He said, you talking about Elon? How he says he'll warn us about how it's going to be,
Yeah, okay.
very dangerous. I
But
get that, but he's for all of it and he wants to do it, and he's
Neuralink,
funding it and everything.
Neuralink, satellites. Look,
I mean, why
check this out.
Why do the the elite,
Yeah.
why do they dangle things in front of our face of what they're going to do and have playbooks and they'll still do it? It's like, why would they tell us? Because they do things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, just some of the research that I've done. I'm not going to get all into it or whatever, right? But right
Okay.
now, Casey, right now there are at least 100 AI websites where you can go and get a free account, and they do all types of different things, right? So I went to one because I wanted to see what it was about. Like,
Right.
and all the YouTube channels are saying if you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want your channel to grow, AI is going to be the future. So I went to this one website
Right.
and it was free account. Let me tell you what this thing does, right? It can remove any background, it can remove
So
you. One click. It can look your video, you know how we say and ands and then there's spaces in between.
Yeah.
One click, it takes it all out. The things that this thing can do is crazy. And then once you're like, oh man, this could speed up my productivity, it says, now start to train your own AI specific to do specifically what you want it to do.
It's going to mirror you. It's going to be, I think they're making everyone's own one.
Yeah, they are. And some people were like, you can create an AI and sell it to companies.
No, I ain't messing with none of that. I'll be in the
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
Hey, this is for you, Josh. Miss Sharon here, leaving you a message.
Yes. All right, Miss Sharon. I forgot what it's called. With the Tim Pool, it was done to Tim Pool. Miss Sharon, I got halfway through it and I fell asleep. But I'm gonna finish the other half tonight. Yeah, what they call the SWAT on people and stuff. I'm on it though. I got you. It's scary.
You watch it, isn't it?
What?
You watch the things, you're like, okay, good night.
I'm old.
Yeah. So with it, I don't buy eggs. We don't buy eggs. But I did see, I think I put something out in one of my videos. I did see maybe over the weekend. I think it was the weekend. It was a dozen eggs. They were at Food Lion. There were a dozen eggs for $7.99, and there was a limit of 2. There was limits on eggs. I didn't know there had been limits, but there's limits on them.
Hey, I caught a random video, just random, and I didn't vet it or anything. But somebody was saying that like they're actually like some chickens aren't producing eggs.
I think it's the feed.
That's what the video said.
I don't
but
buy
I was
that
like,
feed. I don't buy that feed. And I do mine do produce all year, even when it's winter. And now I live more in the South, so I don't get some of the weather some of you guys do. But I
Yeah.
always say black sunflower feeds, cayenne pepper, and put dried red peppers out. That will lay all year, and they'll keep them from going through heavy molting. But with the feed, well, people are just like, even when they should have been in the seasons and stuff in months that they should have been,
Yeah.
I think that it's the feed. The stuff that they're doing to our food, they are doing stuff to animal feed.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my opinion.
So that video wasn't crazy because I saw it. Look, I see a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, the Earth core stopped spinning. I'm like, and then you text me. I was like, wait, what? Let me look into this then. And then I heard the thing about the eggs and the birds not producing. I was like, and they just said the exact same thing you said. There's a lot of strange things going on right now.
Oh,
A
they're
lot.
gonna but they're hey Erica.
Erica.
I'm sorry if I've missed you guys. Look, I've neglected chat more tonight. But I love all of you guys. I'm so grateful and humbled that y'all are here. Yeah, I think, but they're going to keep us that way. They have to bombard us and overwhelm us and distract us. That's why I always talk about make sure you can see through, like decipher quickly, like, okay, this is smoke and mirrors. This is a distraction. Okay, I need to pay attention to what this is, because they're doing that nonstop because it's overwhelming. What happens when we're overwhelmed? We get stressed and we make mistakes and the people spiral down and on and on. And like we were seeing in those 2 years that we were going through all the illness mess and everything else. It's like people were coming unraveled. They were and how much have we said before about cracking? People are going to mentally crack way before they were physically cracked.
Yeah.
And they're doing that on purpose. It wears people down.
Facts.
So yeah.
Hey, can I read one more verse?
Read, do what you want. I'm over here trying to catch up with chat.
This last one I got, but it's certain verses, So Luke 44, 23:44. And it was now about noon, and the darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. For the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. 46. Jesus called out with a loud voice. This with a loud voice, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. When he said this, he breathed breath his last, and that was it. I mean, I hope, seriously, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope that when it is my time, I hope that I'm not like crying out because I want to stay. Because
Right. You want to have that peace.
what's gonna happen to my stuff? I can't go now. Like, they
Right.
need me. And I hope that with a free and clear heart, I'm glad we're talking about this because I'm gonna remember this right before I split. I want to say the exact same thing. I want to say, Father, into your
Yeah.
hands I commit my spirit.
I want to have that peace and know where I'm going and have that. Well, okay. So working in medical, when I worked in ER and just in medical period,
You better be
um,
careful.
there is medical in this world, Google.
All
It's,
right. This is
is
her channel.
yeah, we'll see. If I don't show up, y'all know why.
Yeah.
Is I would, when you would see, well, I don't know if you've been in this situation or not. Well, I work trauma and different things, and when I did that, you see different types of people passing, and
Yes.
you would see those who would struggle. They were fighting. What I would say, they're fighting it. It's horrific to watch somebody when they're fighting against that death. They're fighting against, they're going and they don't have that peace, and it's a battle, and you can see it's a battle, and it's not peaceful. It's not going peacefully at all.
Okay.
And then you have those people who go and they have that different type of peace. And I always would think I hope I go with peace and having a conversation. I hope that, God is right there with me and I have that peace and I'm talking with him, because that other struggle, I say, I just want to go. No, we all have different things why we want to stay, but I know where I'm going when I leave here, whenever my name is called out.
Yeah.
But as a mother, you think about my children. I don't, things like that. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, is having that peace.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for in the midst of all of whatever is happening. If the shark is like coming towards me, it's about to just jump on me.
Right.
I still want to just have that peace and just know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hey.
Good conversations, though, huh?
I agree.
Tough conversations, but that's what it's about. Because we gotta have the. It's not always,
Yeah.
rainbows and butterflies. It's got to be, but I think it helps. I think that it helps. It helps me, and I hope it helps others. I think that's what this is part of. This is part of our journey. That's how I think.
It helps me tremendously. I'm spending so much more time in the Word and seeking, and you know what I mean. Yes.
Yeah. I believe it. You'll have that different piece. But I appreciate all you guys. Anyone have anything else they want to throw in there? Josh, you got anything else before we wrap this up? We've been going just over an hour.
I don't know. Just
y'all good?
For me, it's just I was feeling an urgency a couple weeks ago, but since I've been like getting back into the Word and stuff, it's kind of calmed that down. You know what I mean? It's calmed that urgency that we're all gonna die. It's calmed it down a little bit.
Of course, I think it does calm that down.
Yeah. So
I think it does give you that peace, and I think we should pray for that peace about things. I do, no matter what's coming. And I think we learn from history. I talk about Corrie ten Boom. She's absolutely wonderful. If you look at that stuff, it's very healing. And I cannot imagine. I'm sure what they were going through at those times, that they couldn't think of anything worse that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh, I got to throw. Where's it at?
8:23.
I saw
it. Getting me fired up. Yeah.
But all right, guys. Look, keep doing your things. Yes. All the things we talk about, but I encourage you to this side of things is to really have that relationship, get right spiritually, because you're going to need that. I promise you're going to need that over anything else, even though you think all the physical stuff God's going to take care of you. Also, I mean, he gives us the ability to do things. Don't get lost in that. But, you know, I
Yeah.
pray. I thank all of you. I love all of you. I pray for all of you. And, you know, we'll do this again. We'll make this regular. Because I tell you, every time we do one of these, I'm like, Josh, I've got so many emails.
What do I say? What do I say? What do I always say?
What, Casey?
I ain't got no emails. I don't know what you saying. And then she'll send me, you know, she'll be like, just listen to this one, and she'll just read
Just
me something.
listen. They just,
like
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. But that is confirmation to me that we're doing the right thing.
Yes.
And
yes.
this is God working through us. This isn't me and just Josh. This
Yeah.
is, you know, and he set us on this, and y'all help us. I mean, how many times have they sparked things, you know, in us about things? But
yeah. I don't know any of this stuff. This is just life experiences. You know what I mean? It's just, it's
just
the
doing our
word,
thing.
and
It's not, yeah. Seeking that and having that relationship, it'll tell you everything.
yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. Stay safe, and we'll be back again, I'm sure.
Hover. Sorry.
Good night, guys.
Y'all.